You got a new set of wheels and tires and that TPMS light is on. We're gonna show you how to get it off. Stick with us, we're going right into it. When it comes to a lot of new vehicles, TPMS sensors can actually be a little bit confusing because there's some complications to go with resetting them and kind of getting them learned to the vehicle. Now, luckily, there's companies like Autel that have done a really great job of making a compact, affordable tool that will work for your vehicle to be able to communicate with the vehicle, check the sensor data, and be able to program it to a vehicle. And in addition to that, it will give you all the data that you need to know and the steps you need to follow. So we're gonna go through that process with this 2025 Q7, and we put our new Mark 1 XRs on it, specifically made for these SUV vehicles. It has extra load, and the best part about it is it's going to be lighter than most of your stock wheel and tire combinations. So let's get into it, and let's get these things programmed to this vehicle. So one of the first things that we have to do is we actually have to be able to scan the sensors to get the sensor data, and then we're going to take the TPMS sensors and we're going to then communicate them to the vehicle through the OBD2 port. Now, luckily, there's great companies like Autel that make TPMS tools and different things to be able to kind of do this whole process and make it very simple. And we'll kind of show you. This is a Maxi TPMS TS508WF by Autel, and shout out to Autel for helping us out in a pinch because the 501 I had didn't have the preloaded definitions, so they were able to customer support me kind of a tool that has a updated definitions pretty quickly. So that was cool. Good customer service. All right, so we have our tool here. First thing we need to do is we need to be able to get into a mode that's going to allow us to identify the vehicle. We're going to go into quick mode here on this tool. And then we're going to identify our vehicle. We have a 2025 Audi Q7. So we're going to go ahead and put Audi, obviously, Q7. We're going to pick the date range, which is right here. And you can see that it utilizes a 433 megahertz sensor. And now we're going to be in a situation where we're going to be able to go through and scan all sensors. So let's start there so we can get the sensor data into the tool. Let's go hit that first wheel. So now all our sensors have been triggered. Now sometimes you'll notice that it will give you a fifth one, which is be the spare. Some of the vehicles actually have a TPMS signal that comes from the spare tire, and in which case it will kind of give you that information. You could scan the fifth wheel. It's important if it does prompt you for the fifth wheel and your spare tire does have a sensor in it, that you actually program it to the vehicle. Because what happens is it will actually detect that even if it's in the vehicle, and it could potentially throw the light on and you could be chasing it when your wheels and tires are actually okay. All right, so you can see after we scanned the vehicle, we can see a couple different things that it's telling us here. First, it's telling us the location and the ID of each single one of the sensors. Next is giving us a KPA, which is equivalent to tire pressure, so we can convert this into PSI. And this is giving us Celsius as far as the temperature. Again, we can go into the settings and change this to Fahrenheit. We also see the battery indication showing low in 2 and then okay in 2. These are new sensors, so we'll go ahead and see if that shakes itself loose in a few minutes. But if it doesn't, then we'll come back, we'll potentially swap out those two sensors. But sometimes it happens just from, they got to kind of get up to speed to be able to kind of activate for the first time. Sometimes there's like a magnet that you can use to actually wake the sensor up. So we'll just see if that changes. It may not, but if not, we'll just have to swap the sensors out. All right, so now that we got our sensor data, we have to communicate that to the vehicle. To do that, we're going to basically hook up this OBD2 serial connector, and then we're going to hit this OBD2 port. I think in the Audi it's under here. All right, so it says press any key to continue. We are communicated to the port. So what we're going to do is we're going to go back. We're going to go down to the relearn procedure. This is where it's going to tell you, unique to each vehicle, exactly what has to happen. So ensure that all the tires are inflated to pressure specified on the tire plate on the door. Keep it stationary for 5 minutes. Starting with the left front, right front and full-size spare if equipped. It's telling you whatever. Turn the ignition on. Test drive at speed of 19 miles an hour, whatever. And we can see roughly if the pressures match. They're saying it's 46.1 in this. This is the vehicle saying 45, 42. They're saying 40.5. In the back here, they're saying 39.6 in the sensor, but this is reading whatever. So we're close-ish. All right, so let's get the pressures to where they all need to be. All right, so we're gonna set these pressures all the way around, and you can see here right on the door placard on the front door, it's gonna tell us we need 39 PSI in the front and 42 PSI in the rear. So let's go ahead and get that all set up. All right, so we have to get the pressures to be equal all the way around. We have our good friend Giuseppe here.
Giuseppe coming with Ryobi. Beautiful, right on the money.
All right, so we got the good old reminder light that we don't have the pressures set on this vehicle. So we're gonna go ahead and get this thing calibrated. This vehicle is actually pretty easy to do. We don't necessarily have to communicate the sensor IDs to the vehicle and its location. It will actually pick it up itself. But a lot of vehicles are gonna need you to take the data that we just scanned and be able to program it to the vehicle. Now, in that case, this tool would be pretty easily. When you go down to this menu, there would be a thing of program sensor to vehicle, and you would basically click that, and when it goes into that menu, it would then write to the vehicle the same way as for your clearing codes in an OBD scanner, and essentially it would program it to the vehicle. Then the vehicle would know which sensor is in which corner, and it would know to read that sensor. Now in this vehicle, we don't have to do that. However, this vehicle will pick it up for us. We do have to communicate that we got the pressures set to the factory, set on the placard. So what we're going to do is go right into our kind of infotainment system here. We're going to go to vehicle. We are going to go to settings and things here, and we're going to go down to TPMS, or tire pressure monitoring. We're going to go to store tire pressures. Store the tire pressure. Yes, we've matched all 4 tires to the specified values. It's going to store that information. Now, obviously, you may have a different system. Not everybody's going to be driving an Audi Q7, but if you do, most of the time they're going to have electronic settings like this. Some cars don't. Some cars are just going to have a light, and once that kind of vehicle is set to the parameters it's looking for, the light will go out. Now, if that's the case, usually what's going to happen is after you program the IDs to the vehicle, you're going to read in these tools, and Autel has done just a really awesome job about making sure that everything is so specific. But if you're looking for the information, it's in here as well. It will tell you all the directions that you need about how exactly it's supposed to relearn to this particular vehicle. So they've figured all this out for every vehicle that they have in their tool, which makes it super easy. You don't have to look at the factory manual. You don't have to go and hit the forums. It's all here. Autel has done a really great job about doing it. So it tells us exactly what to do. So now that that's all set, what we're essentially going to be able to do is go drive the vehicle. It says right here that we should drive this thing at speeds above 19 miles per hour for at least 10 minutes to ensure that the TPMS works well and the light stays off, especially now that we set the pressures. So now let's go drive the vehicle at 19 miles an hour or greater for a few minutes and see if that light stays off and everything looks good, and we start to get pressures that report to the vehicle. All right, so we're driving above 19 miles an hour. Now let's go see if this thing get some pressures going on here. All right, look at that. We are all set. We're in the green, maybe a little bit higher than we need to on that one front, but green means good, or money, or go, but primarily good. So in theory, using the Mark 1 XRs, while the wheels are heavier for us, they're actually much lighter than the stock wheels, which is cool, especially since we went to a 20 from a 19. So we should feel 2 things. Let's see the first one. I mean, hard to tell, but there's 2 things you would feel if you go to a lighter weight wheel, right? The first thing you would feel is the vehicle feels like it has a little bit more pep to it, a little bit more response to it, maybe even a little crisper. And the second thing, obviously, that we'll see hopefully in time is maybe an improvement on gas mileage, especially on highway, right? So that will be the interesting thing for us. But for the TPMS sensors, we are within check. Everything's looking good. The car seems to ride really well. Let's see if we can get up to 60 and see if everything feels smooth. And it does. I mean, it feels laser smooth. I mean, really, not even a hint of vibration anywhere. Really nice. So that's what I like what we did with the Mark 1 XRs. We actually made them hump centric. So for an Audi, it's going to be a 6656 and it will go right on, no problem. When it comes down to maybe these getting used onto a Volkswagen hub, they would just use a ring from 6656 down to 57. But we made them in a lot of other fitments. And I think what's cool about the Mark 1 XRs, they're flow formed. Yeah, they kind of have that styling that's like the Mark 1. But the cool thing is, and if you want to use discs, you can use a disc. But the cool thing to me is that it's extra load rated, so it's going to give you a lot of robustness, but you're also saving a lot of weight, especially from the factory wheel and tire setup. So far, no complaints. Everything feels really good, really smooth, and that's kind of what we're looking for. And I think we got the TPMS light off. We've been driving for a little bit now. No light. Everything's looking really good. So I think we are all set there. All right, so this is just a quick overview on how you get these TPMS sensors set to a vehicle. This vehicle actually is really easy, but good thing the Autel tool told us exactly what to expect. It went exactly like that. Everything is smooth. The wheels look great on the vehicle and they drive really well. Thanks for hanging out with us. If you have any other questions about TPMS or anything else that has to do with the wheel and tire stuff, go ahead and throw it down below. We'll get to you. Thanks for hanging out with us. Catch you on the next one.